Elizabeth from MissWizabeth.com.
And I'm Jennifer from InWhicHIblog.com.
And this is episode 4 of Picture Shows and Petticoats. So thank you for watching. We are talking about episode 4 of Downton Abbey tonight.
Season 2.
Season 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like this episode. It was probably the saddest one we've had so far, but I liked it a lot.
It was heartbreaking.
You know, the first thing that we see, I guess, is in the house. Things are, you know, it's busy. They have a lot going on there, and Daisy feels like somebody's walked over her grave.
A psychic connection.
Mm-hmm.
That was a bit much.
I don't know. I really liked it.
Well, when it ended up, it went from Daisy and then to Mary both. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, and Mary, what did Mary say? She just got a
really cold
cold
really
chill.
cold.
It can happen, right?
Absolutely.
Has anything like that ever happened in my life? No.
I haven't had that sort of thing happen with a person.
And then we see the guys back in the trenches.
Mm-hmm. Our first real battle scene.
Yeah.
Of the series.
Yeah.
Explosive. Is that a good word to describe it?
It was explosive.
Very gritty, very real.
Yeah. And can we just say, I called it.
You called it?
I called it! What happens in this episode I totally knew was going to happen. It was the only option. He had to, you know. We're not to it yet, but everybody knows by now. Don't listen to the rest of this episode if you haven't seen episode 4, because
Spoiler alert.
We're going to ruin it for you.
Matthew's gearing up his troops, and he's getting them all, you know, rah, rah, rah. They're trying to, the last inhale before they rush out in the battle scene and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there saying to myself, where's his beanie weenie? I want to know where the dog is.
Oh.
Teeny
yeah.
weenie. Or whatever the thing is.
Beanie weenie?
The little teeny weenie. Beanie weenie.
Did it have a name? Did she say it had a name?
I don't think it had a name.
Mm.
Just a little dog. Well, and of course then we see it.
Yeah. After the house finds out that both of the men have been injured, and when Matthew arrives back, the little dog falls out of his belongings, which means he must have had it on him.
Yes, and Sybil is the one who picks it up.
Yeah.
She knows.
Yeah, she knows. And I think we see it's a significant thing, you know, and I think Sybil knows that too, so.
Or she will soon.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't take long for us to realize that Matthew is pretty gravely injured. You don't know.
Terrible.
He does. He looked really bad. Like, he looked closer to death than William at that point, I thought. William was kind of, you know, sitting up and
perfect.
Coherent. Yeah, perfect. And poor Matthew's just did not look well.
Great job on makeup.
O'Brien and Thomas talking about O'Brien having written a letter to Mrs. Bates to alert her that Mr. Bates is back in the house.
That O'Brien, I would like to cook her in her own stew, I tell you what.
And it's clear she does not know exactly what she's messing with there. I mean, she wants to get Bates back out of the house, but I don't think she knows what kind of fuel this woman is running on. I think if she did, she wouldn't be doing this, because I think she does care about the family, and she doesn't realize that this woman could take the family down.
Bad O'Brien. I think this is probably okay. So I'm gonna confess that I have to give Thomas props. Just this once.
For what?
For calling her on it, though. He won't. He didn't put up with the whole, this is your fault, this is your responsibility, it's your mess, you made it, you cleaned it up. So, okay, so he gets 1 point in his favor.
Mrs. Bates shows back up.
Dun dun dun.
And she's pretty intent on selling the story about Mary.
And the Turkish diplomat.
And the Turkish diplomat. Now, what did she call Anna? What did she call her? Did she call her Floozy? Something like that?
Something.
Floozy?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. I thought she was going to come out of her skin when she said they call her Floozy.
And how Anna just stood there so collected.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it just rolled right off of her.
I'm not like Anna. I don't think I could just sit there. But Mary, after talking to Anna, realizes what she has to do and that she's really the only one with the power to possibly stop this whole thing. And so she decides to go to Sir Richard, even knowing that...
To confess?
Yeah, to confess that.
See, that's just crazy.
Mary
would never confess.
In a normal situation, I would totally be behind letting someone know. I mean, I think he would deserve. I think he kind of deserves to know. But the fact that he's a newspaper guy, and it seems to be more of a business agreement, them being engaged. Rather, I don't think there's feelings really on either side. I don't know. That just he could destroy her. He could destroy her.
If for some reason Matthew decides he wants her, and
yeah,
oops.
Yeah,
but I think it's really cool of her to do that, though.
I mean, she's showing that she. Boy, it's such a.
She's not the same person that she was in season 1.
No, not at all. She has really changed a lot, and she's not the selfish girl that we saw at the beginning. I like Mary so much more now. I didn't care for her, but her character has grown a lot, and I like her. I do. So we have some. Well, we are told that William is going to die. That's what I called. I knew it. It just had to happen.
See, I'm still in denial.
You think he's coming back?
I'm so upset. I hope that he haunts Daisy in a good way. I hope that, I don't know.
I really thought she would come around to actually caring about him more than she actually did. So
and maybe it's because she cared about him that she decided in the end.
Well, when she decides to stay with him.
Right.
When Mrs. Patmore comes to tell her to go rest, and she says she's not going to leave him. Well, he needs her. Anyway, I'm skipping ahead. But
and she's his wife at that point, too.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'm sure she feels responsible because she knows that she did get herself into that situation.
Right. Well, whenever he calls for her and he wants to talk to her about still getting married and, finding out that part of his reason behind that is wanting her to be taken care of. Mm-hmm. He's a really noble guy.
I wanted to marry him.
I know.
I volunteer. Daisy, you don't have to do it. I'll do it for you.
I thought that was really sweet of him.
And he's such a young thing, too.
I know, it's so
he's
sad.
He's so mature. And his poor dad. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Just broke my heart.
He lost his wife and his son.
But I guess I kind of thought in the end, where his dad reaches for Daisy's hand and stuff, it's like the two of them have each other now. And I don't think Daisy has any family.
I get that feeling too.
I have the impression she's kind of all alone. So maybe in this way she's got a family now.
That's true.
In a sense. Yeah. I wonder how it's going to change Daisy's life, because if she has a pension, does that mean that, I don't know how much the pension's worth. Does it mean she can quit working? Does it mean she's going to? Does it mean she's going to donate that to charity and keep working?
I don't know.
Now, and what does that, the widow with the child who comes to work for them as the new maid that's coming in the door, I'm wondering about that situation. If she doesn't have a pension, or if she does have a pension, she can't live on it. I wonder what her situation is.
Yeah, that's true. She does have a child to take care of, too, though.
Or did her husband leave her debts or something?
Who knows? I guess maybe we'll find that out.
I guess we will.
Matthew's situation, that he will likely never walk again. He's got some kind of spinal injury. And that he won't ever have children. Lavinia, I guess none of this has crossed her mind either. And whenever he tells her the situation and really asks her to leave, do you think we have seen the last of her? Do you think she's going to give up? Because he cut it off.
Right. Well, he told her to go home, but she doesn't want to go home.
Right.
So, and she says it's not important to her, but I don't know. I think it's going to take a little bit more to push her over the edge.
You think? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like she's gone. I feel like I do think that they love each other, but I think Mary is still number one for him. I think he still feels that way. And it clearly, it took a lot for her to realize it, but Mary wants to marry him. And then we have Sir Richard in the way now. Mm. It's really sad, and you could see that Lord Grantham was really trying to, well, frankly, it's none of Mary's business.
That's true.
And so he wasn't going to discuss that with her. And then, whenever she finds out that he is injured, she's just rushing around like it's her job to go and be there with him. And, whenever her father mentions that her mother has written to Lavinia, that's kind of, oh, wait, forgot. This is what she's supposed to do. Yeah. Oh.
But I think also the look of pride in Lord Grantham's eyes, that Mary was totally consumed with thinking about somebody else. And
yeah.
It's a whole 360 from where they were episode 1 of season 1.
It's not one side, it's the other.
Yeah. That the noose is definitely tightening around Mary's neck as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, she's
in his debt.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like how he said that they were on more equal terms now. I didn't like how he said that at all. That was really creepy. Business arrangement or not, that was...
He seems like he could be abusive.
He's a little bit slimy.
Like, emotionally at the very least. He's already playing with her that way.
I'm already looking into, if it's not a love arrangement, if it's a business arrangement, he's already, he's going to be frequenting the red light district to get what he wants. So, I wouldn't want that coming home with me.
He's so... Sir Richard agrees to, call Mrs. Bates in and talk to her about what she knows, her story, buys her story from her, gets her name, gets her to sign the contract, and
he's good at being sneaky.
Mm-hmm. So I am glad that he did that, but I don't know what's going to happen with her, because she's clearly very angry, and she's going to take Mr. Bates down with her. Mm-hmm.
You know who I felt sorry for? Those poor little foxes that she had wrapped around her.
You don't like furs?
Well, I'm not going to say that on
I could get
broadcast.
You a deer fur from my dad.
But I just was like, because she got dressed up in her finest to go stroll into his office. Oh, not stroll into his office, slam into his office. But I was just like, I don't know. As she was walking out, I just saw their two little heads laying there on her back. And that was all I could think of. Those poor little foxes gave their lives to be worn by her. Ugh, yuck.
Is Hughes feeding Ethel from the house. Ethel is off. She's had her baby. She's living in a cottage by herself. And Miss Hughes is bringing her food.
I don't know if it's a cottage. It looked like a room. It looked like a room. She might have been...
With a dirt floor? Was the floor dirt? It looks like dirt. It looked pretty bad.
It wasn't the plaza. It wasn't the Skirvin. Maybe we should use Oklahoma.
Oh,
references.
the Skirvin.
It wasn't
exactly.
the Skirvin.
Some similarities there. Do you know the ghost story about the Skirvin?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's about a maid and a baby, and
it's about Ethel.
And yeah, it's exactly about Ethel. That's exactly right. I didn't see any ghosts. I didn't hear any baby crying or anything like that. So
that's very good.
William and Daisy's little wedding.
Oh well, back to Ethel. I'm sorry. Yeah. I just had to say one last thing. Just again, because I think I probably said it in the last episode, but I just had to say it again. Major Bryant is a pig.
Oh, don't like him.
Pig.
Not a fan.
Me either.
He's probably gone.
Slight double standard.
Well, but yeah.
I wrote on my blog for episode 3 that if I were Mrs. Hughes, I would have used a little homeopathic aversion therapy. Have you seen Something to Talk About with Julia Roberts and Dennis
Quaid? It's been years.
Yes, well, you need to see it again.
Okay. Yeah. But I think we're probably rid of him. I would guess. So, William and Daisy's little wedding ceremony.
The Dowager goes to bat for them.
She does. Sweet.
Vicar was a little bit unfriendly.
He needs to get over himself.
Yeah. Poor William.
Yeah. He just wanted to do what was best for Daisy. And it was a sweet little... I liked that they didn't, make you sit through the whole thing. Instead, they kind of did a little, pan the room a little bit. And saw everyone's reaction. And
all the emotion of the moment.
Yeah, the Dowager's cold, It was...
She didn't want anybody to know she's a special lady. She's trying really hard to hide that, but we're not buying it for a minute that she's a crank.
No. I thought it was really nice of her to show up for that, because she didn't have to do that.
Well, yeah.
And it was really a sweet gesture.
Daisy was just frozen in a daze, and still felt really false.
I was kind of surprised that she went through with it. I think it was the right thing to do. Even I think William knew that she didn't really
You
want
think
to.
He knew?
I think he did. I think he did a little bit, because I think that's why he brought up the pension thing. I do. Because if he just thought that she would go ahead and marry him, why would he bring that up? I think he
was just that kind of guy.
Yeah? I don't know.
He's a gem. He was a gem.
Now he's gone.
No more William to look forward to. But the other thing that I loved about the wedding, well, of course, Daisy's little curls and the flowers from
sweet.
Lord Grantham.
Oh, and they did make it look so pretty.
I know how they decorated the bed and all that. That was really sweet. The whole room was very sweet. But Carson stood there and offered her his arm, and he walked her upstairs and gave her away. That's so sweet.
Love Carson. We haven't had very much of him in the past couple of episodes.
Well, the previews for the next, I'm a little bit concerned.
Yeah. I know.
I don't want to lose another character. Unless it's O'Brien.
We have to keep her.
Or Mrs. Bates. I could lose Mrs. Bates very easily. Isabella's back.
Oh, yes, that's right. We can't leave that out. She walked in and went to see her son. She seemed a little bit in shock.
Yes. We only got, 1 or 2 lines from her, and that was it. So I'm waiting for the next episode, because I want to see what happened in France and what she's going to do. In my blog, one of the things I wrote about was the spat between Cora and Isabel. They both lost as far as the relationship was concerned.
Right.
So even though Cora's the lady of the house, and it's her right to say who comes and goes and when they come and go and all of that, but I just feel like, in the long run, the 2 women do ultimately have to live together, whether Isabel's living in France or not. They still have to be in relationships. So I'm wondering how that will work out. Will Isabella apologize to Cora? Will Cora soften because of what Matthew's been through and sympathize with?
Well, and we saw a little bit in the previews about that too. Lord Grantham making a comment about her being insensitive or callous or something along those lines. I don't really remember because she made clearly Mary and Matthew are going to end up together. We just have to admit it at this point.
What did Mrs. Hughes say? It was never a question of when, if it was when.
Did she say that?
Not about Mary.
Oh, okay.
Not about Mary and Matthew, but about the two women. But
yeah.
I think that quote would apply in this particular
point. I think you're right. They'll end up together, and I think Cora said something about, don't you care about grandchildren, and that's when he makes the comment about. Now, I don't know if that's how they edited, the whole thing to make it look like that's what they're talking about. I hate it when they do that, by the way. Make you think that something else has happened, and really it's nothing at all. I think, what I'm looking forward to is Matthew will walk again. And
are we having a Pollyanna situation?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's going to come about.
Okay.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. Could go either way.
I think he's...
I'm happy he's alive.
I am too.
He had the teeny weeny beanie weenie, and he's alive.
It saved him.
Mary's got her priorities right.
Yeah. But I think he'll walk again, and then I think we get to the point where will Lavinia be out of the picture completely by that point, or will he be able to walk, and the reasons that he gave her for her needing to leave, will he be valid anymore, and will he have to just decide and say, I choose Mary, and this is, I can't do this, this is wrong.
I don't know. He has an understanding with her, and he's pretty honorable.
Yeah. Or will Lavinia be the one to walk?
I also think that Lavinia, I was thinking about what Cora does, the whole conflict with Isabel and things like that, and how she does have to manage the whole house. She has a long list of duties as the Countess of Grantham, and it's, welcoming guests into her home, knowing proper behavior, and what's expected socially, and I just don't see Lavinia filling those shoes.
No, she doesn't really seem the part.
I'm sure that's not what Matthew was thinking when he chose her. He wasn't looking for a countess, but that's what he needs. I can't believe that you haven't brought it up.
Oh no, what did I miss?
One episode we haven't talked about Bates' Nana. Anna said...
Oh, when they went to the church.
Oh, will you come and pray with me? Oh my gosh. I loved, exactly in response, because it was that line, in response to that, Anna said, I'd rather have the right man than the right wedding. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's my theme. Oh my gosh, I love it. See more of Anna and Mary, because I think at this point the two of them are really good for each other.
Cora and Isabel are just going to have to get it together because it's clear they're going to share grandchildren. Here in the United States, we have one more 60-minute episode and then two 120-minute episodes. The last of which I believe will be the Christmas special. You can find us on Twitter at PS Petticoats and on YouTube, which is where you're probably watching this, so that was pointless. Yeah, I guess we'll see you next time when we talk about episode 5, Downton Abbey. Looks like some serious drama.
3 more to savor, 3 more to go.
Alright, we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Go pose.
This...
Gosh, that's going to be...